This video is brought to you by Battle Tested Film Gear for all your tips, tricks, tutorials, and tools. Check us out, battletestedfilmgear.com.
Okay, the question was asked off of one of the other lighting tutorials I was using a bunch of Kinos in a nighttime scene to light a room. Somebody was saying, what are some options? The Kino flows that you mentioned are not going to be enough output for the space, the wide shots, and a 1200 par might be too much for the environment to blow the fuses or whatever. And they're shooting on the C100, and the question was, do you just up the ISO to get the exposure you want, etc., etc.? Well, here's my thoughts. First off, depending on how many Kinos you have, I was working with 2 or 3 that day, maybe 4 if I mentioned it. That should be enough output, especially for the C100. Depends on really how wide you're talking. Are you talking about a huge, huge space, or just a room? You have to do some tests and see. The C100's got a lot of low light sensitivity, so you should be pretty much okay. Again, test it, see what you're gonna get. If you're talking about bumping the ISO, just remember that it's gonna bring everything up if you do that. And it depends on where you're starting. If you're starting at 800 and not having enough light, if you bump the ISO, yeah, you're gonna get noise. It's not gonna look good. I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you absolutely have to. The Red's rated at 800, and I always leave it at 800 if I can. I never bump it past that unless I really have no other option. Done it a couple times, but that's really because we had no generator and we were running out of light, etc., etc. So just remember, if you're bumping ISO, it bumps all the levels up. So if you're trying to light something, your light's gonna be lighter, your dark's gonna be lighter. So that's not gonna help you light necessarily, it'll just help bring all the ambient up. What was any other thoughts? Oh, 1200. Yeah, if you're concerned about blowing a circuit with a 1200, you could consider renting the Mole LED Fresnels, which are awesome nowadays. A friend of mine has a bunch of them, used them a bunch. They're good lights. They're not quite as much broad spread as a PAR will give you through the Fresnel, but you can get a 400 watt baby junior, or where they're called, 400 watt, which will act like a 1200. We've put it next to a 1200 PAR and gotten some good results as far as output goes. It just doesn't spread as much. So you might need a couple fixtures for how much space, or back it off and put it through some diffusion or something like that to help you spread the light. But then again, you start dropping your light level down too. So anyway, hope that gives some insight. Do some tests, see what the Kinos will do for you, spread them out, get a couple of them. Yeah, if you're looking to throw light way across like a field or something like that, you're gonna want something that can throw. But we just did a film a couple summers ago where we just used those fluorescent boxes. Basically, they're Diva lights, and we just throw them way high on stands, and they projected out quite a ways. That's the film we shot on the GH2s. Those aren't rated. I think we were sitting at 1000 ISO on those, and it was pretty clean, and I got some good wide shots. So anyway, gonna get back to work. These guys are all giving me the stink eye for stopping work, but this is a show. We'll show you the show a little bit later. It's gonna be pretty sweet. This is the backside of some mystery box. But yeah.